Hey guys, Tommy Bryson here, and welcome to Ask Tommy Bryson, where I take your questions and talk to you guys one-on-one. If you want to join me, just go ahead and sign up directly in the link down below, and that way we can talk one-on-one. And by the way, everything is free. Let's get started.
Hello.
Hi, hello, is this Nam?
Yes, this is Nam. This is Tommy?
This is Tommy. So just want to let you know this is being recorded. I might be uploaded to YouTube. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that should be fine.
All right, awesome. So how can I help you, bro?
So, I'm struggling with this Discover credit card that I have.
Okay.
I maxed it out. It's about $20,000 and so right now I'm currently, my minimum payments I have to make are about $409, but the interest charges are about the same. So when I pay the $409, like, it's barely making a dent into the $20,000 I owe.
Okay.
And I'm looking at the APR. It's about 22.99%.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to figure out if I should, because this is probably my biggest payment besides my mortgage, my biggest bill that I have to pay.
Okay.
And I'm just trying to figure out if I should consolidate all my things I owe together in order to make the payments lower and for me to be able to start chipping away at this $20,000.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. How much debt do you have overall? And what type of debt do you have, like aside from the mortgage?
I have a student loan that's not that much. It's only I only have like $2,000 left.
Okay, $2,000.
And the minimum payments are very low. It's like $60.
Okay.
That I have to do.
Credit card debt, that's $20,000. Do you have any more credit cards?
My car. No, this is my only credit card, and then I have a car payments.
And how much is your cars or just car?
Car, just one car.
Okay, how much do you owe there?
So the car should be about $30,000.
I'm guessing you bought a new car?
It was a used car.
A used car for $20,000.
But I also had to trade it in. I mean I did a trade in, so like I had owed some money on the last car, and they added on to this one like another. So it's like a $25,000 car, and then I owe like $10,000. So like yeah. So
and what's your income?
So last year with COVID, I probably made about $68,000, maybe a little more.
$68,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you have literally half your net worth, half of the money you actually make, basically like in car debt, right? So it's usually not going to be a good idea. So okay. So here's the first thing here. And how much is the mortgage, by the way?
I pay about $1,300 a month.
$1,300 a month. And I'm guessing, like, do you know like your overall expenses like per month, like how much money you usually spend, like food?
Like fun stuff and.
No, just like things you need, things you actually need, like food, utilities, and so on. Like how much do you pay for your food?
For food, maybe. Well, I've been going out a lot on dates, so it's been like expensive. So
let's just say food at home, you cook in there. How much money do you think you'll be spending on food?
Probably about $200 a month.
Okay, let's double that, because usually you want to double food because food is more. So let's say $400 on food. Let's say utilities. How much are you spending there? For example, like your light bill, your gas, your maintenance, all that stuff.
So I don't pay that bill. Somebody else does.
You have a roommate or something?
Yes.
Okay. So here's what the story sounds like to me. My name is Nam. I have a bunch of credit card debt. I have a mortgage. I have student loan debt, but I'm almost done with it. And I bought a very expensive car, right?
Sure.
And now I'm trying to get out of this credit card debt. Now, the first thing is, when it comes to liabilities like this, for example, like cars, usually what I would do is, first thing is go on Kelly's Blue Book, find out how much it's worth, and basically try to sell that car and get rid of it. Because at this current moment, you probably can't afford it. My main priority would be basically, okay, let me grab my income to try to get out of debt and then basically pay off this house as fast as possible. That way can be more financially free fast. As far as, for example, so that's the car, right? Basically, sell the car, buy a decent used car, 5,000 to 10,000 maybe, and buy it for cash. That way, you're not in debt with that either. As far as your credit card debt with Discover, yeah. So basically, the interest charge is probably gonna be like around $400, maybe a little less. So what you're actually paying for, and by the way, I noticed a lot that you said the minimum. You don't want to pay the minimum on any of this stuff. What you want to do is basically pay a lot more than the minimum, so you can actually be done with this. So if you're making $68,000 a year divided by 12, that's around $5,666. If your mortgage is like $1,300, food is like maybe food is like $400. Let's say you spend like $2,000 every single month. You should still have, for example, like $3,666 actually left over. What would I do with that money? Focus all that money on paying off this debt on this credit card as fast as possible, using, for example, the avalanche method. Meaning, for example, you get rid of the debt with the highest APR first to save a bunch of money when it comes to interest mathematically. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. So instead of right now, like it sounds like, hey, I'm having fun. My name is Nam. Instead of doing all that stuff right now, Nam, I would probably focus and double down on, hey, I can't be going out on a lot of dates right now. I can't be having all this fun stuff right now. I can't afford this car right now. What I need to do is basically get rid of this car, pay the difference ASAP. Just buy a used car, like for the moment, right? So you're riding around, for example, in a $3,000, $4,000 car for the moment. And then what you want to do is you want to go ahead and chip away at that credit card debt. If you have, for example, an extra $3,000 extra every single month, you should be done with this debt by the end of the year.
Okay.
With all your debt by the end of the year. But it's going to be a big sacrifice. And the big follow-up is basically, once you're debt-free, what do you do next? Right? Like once you're done with the credit card, the student loan debt, and you sell that car, and you got a used car, you pay for it in cash, what's next? Well, what's next is basically the mortgage and building up, for example, do you have an emergency fund right now? An emergency fund?
Not really. I don't have any savings.
What do you do for work now?
So I have a lot of jobs. So I'm always constantly making some kind of money when I'm going to find a way to make money. So if I owe money, so I take care of sports injuries. I'm an athletic trainer. I work at a football stadium. I have a hospital job. I'm a tennis coach. I drive Uber and Lyft. I have all kinds of like revenue coming in from like in the summer I work a summer camp, and then I'm about to get a new job that should be getting me up to about $80,000. So that should help. So
here's what it sounds to me. My name is Nam, and I'm I'm a hustler, right? I try to make money as much as I possibly can. I work very hard, but all this money you're making, Nam, is active. So if you were to break your leg, or you can't go to work, or you get fired, everything stops.
Right.
Does it sound accurate?
Yeah. I just recovered from COVID, and I didn't work for like a month.
It's insane. Really bad. Yeah. Yes, it's very bad because everything is dependent on you. So my advice would be this, right? Drop all the date and stuff. Well, you can have dates in your house, just like prepare something, whatever you want to do. Like just go on fun dates. Don't spend a lot of money on this stuff. Drop the food. Like don't spend a bunch of money on food either. Just focus all your money, all your energy on getting rid of this credit card debt and sell the car. It's not worth having, for example, a $30,000 debt for a liability that by the time you pay it off is already, for example, a 5-year-old model or whatever it is, right? And then you're probably going to want to trade that in, get a newer, it's going to be like a rat race. You see, it never stops, okay? Once you're almost done paying it off, well, let me just get another one. Okay, that adds up to that one, then another one, and another one. So once you're debt free, your mortgage, how much do you owe on it? Do you know?
So hang on. So got it in 2017. It's been about 4 years. I probably have about 140,000 left on there.
Yeah, 140K. Awesome. All right, so here's my advice, right? Once you're done with all the debt, oh, by the way, before you win, okay, step by step here. I'm Nam. What the heck do I do in this situation? Well, the first thing is I want to go on Kelly's Blue Book. I want to find the value of this car, and I want to try to sell it. I want to try to sell it as fast as possible. I want to cut the difference, pay it off right there, focus on all my credit card debt. And while I'm doing this, basically, before I start that, I want to save $1,000 on the side in case I have an emergency. That way, if anything happens to me or anything goes wrong, I have that money there, so I don't have to go into more credit card debt to kind of like offset anything that goes on. Once I'm done with this credit card debt, my main focus is going to be like, hey, I want to get a foundation. So what does a foundation mean? It means I want to build a full-blown emergency account between 3 to 6 months. So if I do like get sick again or something does happen to me, I'll be able to figure it out in 3 to 6 months. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, what I want to do, I want to start investing between 15 to 25% of my money into, for example, some index funds and so on, like a more like passive portfolio. That way I can start building a nest egg, right? So in the future I can have passive income. So when things are not going my way, I still have money coming in. 15 to 25% towards that. And then as far as the house right now, I would throw basically all the extra money I have towards paying it off as fast as possible. If you owe $140,000 and you're making, for example, and you have, for example, $3K basically like in liquid income every single month, if you throw that the mortgage, you'll be done maybe like in like, I don't know, maybe like 6 to 7 years or so. You'll be done a lot faster. Now in 7 years, it's a different picture here, right? I'm debt free. I've been driving, for example, a not that nice car, but it's a decent car. It runs. I can do whatever I want to do with that car. I have an emergency fund. I have my investments also that can take care of me at some point. And on top of that, I just have a bunch of free income because at this point, guess what? Yes, I'm working. I'm making 80K now, but I also don't have a mortgage. I don't have any debt. I don't have any payments. All this money is mine. With this money, you can go ahead, for example, invest more or just go ahead and enjoy your life a lot more. So if you do want to go to dinners and do whatever you want to do, because you sound like you're a little bit extravagant, you have good taste and stuff like that. If you do want to do that stuff, it's fine to go ahead and do it because at this point you can actually afford it. If you want to buy a nice car, you can buy it for cash because again, you can afford it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So definitely you're saying don't do the debt consolidation because that's gonna. I don't know how it works, and I know every company, it's very rare for, they say you get 0 interest or 4% interest, but it's very rare for those people to get that interest.
What's your credit score?
About 720 right now.
Yeah. And remember, right, credit scores are based on like maintaining how do you say this? Servicing the credit. So as long as you're paying, your credit score is gonna keep going up, right? And that means you get more credit cards, you get more debt. They don't mind, right? It's just like get into more debt, whatever. That's not what you want for yourself, right? You already have a house. You got this mistake with this credit card. The point is you get the heck out of this stuff and you're done. If you do a debt consolidation, my only worry is, yes, it might save you money on interest because again, you're paying 22%. I doubt they're gonna charge you more than that, probably like 8 to 14%. But if you do that, my main worry is, hey, my name is Dom. I have not changed my habits just yet. What if I start using that credit card again?
Right.
And now I have 20K over here and 20K over here.
Yeah.
And 30K for the car and 2K for the student loan debt. And 140K when it comes to, you have a lot of debt, bro. So you gotta cut all this stuff off. And again, you're very lucky, not lucky because you're a hustler, right? You're very fortunate to have this much income coming in and the ability that you have to basically pay off all this debt in less than 2 years. Well, except the mortgage and so on, but you have an ability to pay, like you'll be 100% debt free in 5 to 7 years. Yeah, and it's a whole different story.
The mortgage is actually going to be, hopefully at the end of the year, it's not going to be in my name anymore. It's going to be refinanced to somebody else.
Why?
I'm moving. I'm honestly going through a divorce.
Wow. Okay.
So she wants to keep the house, and I don't really want it. So we're gonna switch it over to her name. So,
let me ask you a question. Sure. The divorce, is it just incompatibility, or is it like something like more personal?
Oh no, it's incompatibility and a lot of toxic stuff. But like everything's like very cordial right now. So like. So like it's like you take your stuff, I take mine. We don't have any kids, thankfully, so there's none of that. And we have a joint account, but there's nothing like she pays her bills, I pay my bill. The only thing is I pay the mortgage and she pays all the little bills like the light and the gas.
That's why you said like you have like a room or something like that. Let me ask you a question. How long have you guys been married for?
We've been married since 2016. We separated for like almost a year, and then we tried to do it again, but it was just really bad,
What?
especially during COVID. Like, we should have been getting closer together during COVID, but we were like literally like roommates.
Okay, let me ask you a
Like,
question. Have you guys gone to marriage counseling?
um, so we were planning on that. She literally ignored me for like 6 months when COVID really kicked up last year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she would literally come home, go to the backyard, hang out, and then go to her room. We stay in 2 separate rooms. We don't talk or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
She was going through her mental illness stuff, and she pretty much just like ignored me. And then when she started coming back, I literally like was trying my hardest, and at no point she was giving me any feedback.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty much already moved on.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, she's kind of starting to do what she should have been doing 9 years ago. We've been together almost 10 years.
Okay, so here's what I want to say now. First of all, I want to say I'm sorry. Right, marriage is tough. It's complicated, right? I just got engaged and so on. And one thing I've learned is before you marry someone, you kind of got to go through the process of vetting them, right? And a lot of times we get married just based on lovey-dovey feelings. Oh my gosh, I love you, but it's a vetting process, right? Because this woman is going to be your life partner. She's going to be the one that's going to take care of your kids and so on. And here's what I'm hearing here. It sounds like you guys have been acting as 2 separate entities. And when you get married, the whole point is to combine 2 wholes, right? So money is not like a separate thing. Problems are not a separate thing. And if I'm being honest here, it sounds like you've been trying really hard, and so has she, dealing it with however she's dealing with it. And overall, it sounds like you don't have the tools, and neither does she have the tools to fix this. So when I find myself in a situation where, like, you're calling me, right? You want to know about money, you can call me because I know about this stuff. If you want to know about marriage and like how to put things back together, because again, like when you guys like sign those vows till death do us part and all that stuff, you should literally give it every single ounce that you probably can. And my advice would be, before you go ahead and sign all the contracts, and before you say, you know what, I'm done with this, like 100%, because it sounds like you got so frustrated to a point where did all this debt, right? The 20K. Did that happen while all this stuff was going on in your life?
So it started because I really didn't have that much debt. I rarely use my credit card.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we got engaged, I was like, okay, we need money for this and that for the wedding. So that's how it started building up to about $10,000.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then recently, it started going up when I started dating.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm kind of like stuck in this. Oh my gosh, how did it just jump up $10,000 in this short amount of time?
Mm-hmm.
So she doesn't know about the credit card. And
does she know about the dating?
No, not really, because we're pretty much just moved on.
Yeah. Here's my advice. Before you really, because here's my thing. If you really had moved on, you would have probably not like tried to hide any of these things, right? I would strongly consider you get like counseling on this, you know?
Right. Yeah. So I started doing counseling last year.
Together.
Yeah. Right. And when I was so originally last year, she was wanting me to get counseling for myself. Mm-hmm. And then after that, she wanted us to do counseling together.
Mm-hmm.
So I started doing it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
My counselor had me do some activities that we were supposed to do together and learn about each other and do stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Our first activity we were supposed to do, it's like a little questionnaire, trying to get to know each other, because we really don't know each other anymore because she doesn't talk to me. So I was trying to do these, and she's like, no, I don't want to do it. So she was completely blocked off from doing any activities with me that my counselor was having me do my homework. And
what do you think that is?
She just has a lot of animosity towards me.
Why?
And so there was a lot of toxic stuff that happened. So some of the big things that happened right after we got married. Mm-hmm. We had like a little fight.
Mm-hmm.
She got so we didn't talk for like a couple days.
Mm-hmm.
And she came home one day, and I was cooking, and I told her I didn't really want to talk to her right now. And she like flipped out, and she tried to burn down the apartment.
Oh my God.
So yeah, so she's very, she's never hit me, but she's very abusive in other ways. She like every time when I try to leave, she will hold suicide over me, like she's gonna kill herself if I leave. So that's why I've been in this relationship for about 10 years. I've been trying to get out. And I know she's been through a lot when she was younger. She went through a lot of abuse, rape, getting robbed, being abandoned by her family. So I never wanted to do that to her.
Yeah.
So I put her.
You felt responsible.
Yeah, so I put her first before me. I put her at number one. And finally, this is the first, like this year, or actually a little bit last year, I started being more selfish about myself and caring about myself instead of putting somebody first that doesn't really care about me or appreciate me. So with her trying to burn down the apartment, I didn't know what to do. She was breaking everything. She tried to light it on fire, and then she tried to kill herself. So I called 911, and the cops came, and the cops took her and handcuffed her and took her downtown to like a mental evaluation place. And she's been holding that against me ever since. And she's like, "You weren't a man because you couldn't handle the stuff in the house, and you had to call the cops to do stuff." So she's still to this day, she's like, she blames me for that, and I understand it was traumatic for her, like being held with a bunch of other crazy people in there, and her friend had to sign her out and write a statement that she wasn't crazy in order for her to get out. So that happened. She cheated on me a lot. And like every time we would get a fight, she would confide in other guys and stuff. And then she was going through counseling, and then she fell in love with her sponsor.
Oh my God.
So I would find these things all over the house, and you know, she was just like leaving like little breadcrumbs for me to find. Like she wanted me, she wanted me to find out.
Know.
So it's like a lot of like, okay. For the first time ever, like in the last couple months, you are finally trying in this relationship, and I have already become numb and checked out because even if we do work out, she still is very angry and, you know, a little toxic and violent towards me. So like I got COVID about a month ago, and like one thing happened. I ordered some food for us because I couldn't go out. And the food delivery guy came here and dropped off the food, and I was like, "Hey, can you put my food in front of my door?" And then, because I didn't want to touch everything and contaminate everybody. Yeah. And then she started just freaking yelling at me, flipping out, like, "Why did you have to go out and work and get COVID and all this stuff?" And I was like, "It's like I have never asked her to do anything. Like I never asked her to go get me a cup of water, turn off the lights for me. I always do it for her." And like for just me asking her to do that because I had COVID and I was really bad. I was bad for like a month. Yeah. I'm finally recovered after like last week. Yeah. And this is just telling me like, okay, this person's not gonna take care of me. Like she's not adult enough to take care of me if I ever needed her. Like in times of need.
What did your counselor tell you when you told him or her all this stuff?
So I was talking to my counselor because I went to counseling because I was like, man, there's something really wrong with me that she doesn't care about me. Like I do all these things for her, I take care of her, I put her first, and she's still doing all these crazy things. Yeah. And my counselor is like, no, you gotta stop blaming yourself for this. She has a lot of issues that she needs to take care of. And she just pretty much like helped me just figure out like, because I was blaming myself for a lot of things. And like it just made my like self-esteem go really down and stuff like that because she didn't want to do anything with me. Yeah. So
well, Here's what this sounds like to me.
Sure.
As far as the money thing,
Uh-huh.
this is basically like a symptom of everything else is going around in your life, right? Because
Okay.
the money thing is simple to figure out. You're a hustler, you know how
Sure.
to do all that stuff. I just gave you the plan. You're good to go on that stuff. As
Right.
far as like your wife and
Mhm.
going through this moment, right? If I
Mhm.
were in a relationship like this and I was in your shoes, what would I do?
I
I'm
think
pretty
yeah.
I'm pretty biblical about things, right? So
Right.
again, I would try to give it my all before I go ahead and say I gotta walk away from this, because at some point, if somebody's trying to like burn things down and all this stuff, because again, it sounds like from my perspective, she doesn't have the tools that she needs to just like communicate with you properly. On top of that, she's hurt you several times. She's been, for example, um not faithful to you,
Mhm.
and now in a way you reached a point where, like boiling point, where you're just like, I don't care about you, I'm just gonna do my own thing at this point, and you start to get some courage. I would, first of all, there's two books I want you to read, right? The
Sure.
first book is called The Sacred Search by Gary Thomas.
Secret
This
Search,
book,
Gary
yeah,
Thomas.
yeah, The Sacred Search by Gary Thomas. This book is gonna tell you basically what to look for when it comes to a spouse. Now, as far as you're gonna basically, like, it's gonna make you reflect, not just, for example, on your wife now, but also on how you're communicating with her and how things are going. The second book is gonna be called Before You Save the Date by Dr. Paul Friesen. Now, this book, by the way, I'm showing it in the video too, but write things down because I don't know when this video is coming out. Before You Save
Sure.
the Date, 21 questions to help you marry with confidence. Now, obviously, you've already married, but if you want to discover all the things to work on with your wife, if you're actually willing to actually like go through the whole process, you gotta know and you gotta have the tools in check. On top of that, I would highly recommend, I don't know if you're religious or not, you go to a marriage counselor, and also,
Mhm.
for example, like your local pastor, and you confide
Mhm.
in someone like because you got married, right, from a religious standpoint, and just be like, hey, what do I do here? Because the big thing is, if I were in a relationship for 10 years, by the way, I'm guessing she was like this before you married her, right?
It didn't really appear until about the third year of our relationship, and then like after we got married in
Wait,
2017, that was
before you got married, how was the relationship?
there was a couple of crazy moments.
Some red
Um,
flags.
yeah, yeah,
I'm get
and then she said she would
change.
change. Yeah, and it hasn't changed at all. She's still the same
Yeah.
person. You
Here's
said
my. Go ahead.
before you save the date by Dr. Pearson.
No, by Dr. Paul Fearson. You'll
Paul.
you'll you'll find it. Yeah, just look up
Okay.
Before You Save the Date. It's like two people holding hands. There's like a red cover and some grass and stuff
Yep.
like that. You'll find it on Amazon.
Found it.
Um,
Yep.
yeah, but the thing is, if I'm being honest here,
Yeah.
people only change when they're ready to change, and
True. And,
it's kind
yeah.
of like hiring someone on a resume, and you read the resume, and the resume says, I don't know how to do anything, but I'll take the job and I'll figure it out along the way. You kind of want to make sure whether this works out or doesn't work out for your next marriage, if you do get married, God willing, that
Yeah.
you vet the person all the way through and base your decision based on facts and not, for example, because when you're a hustler and you sound a little bit entrepreneurial also, you always look
Hmm.
for the best in people. You always
Hmm.
look for the best version possible that could be, even though they're not that yet. But you think, hey, you can be this if you try hard enough, right? But again, you gotta base your things on facts. So my step one would be the money problem. Stop spending money like a crazy man and just like settle
Hmm.
down and pay these things off. You're gonna be just fine. You're a hustler. As far as the whole marriage thing, really sit down and think about going to a pastor or marriage counselor and guiding through all this entire thing. If she's willing to also go to marriage counseling, you gotta basically do that with her. And if your pastor is gonna guide you a lot more than I can, because my job has always been finance, but I'm also getting married. So before I go ahead and marry my fiance, we're going through this book also, and there were some flags that actually came upon, but we did not move forward until we settle on those things and actually made an agreement on those things. And I cannot marry until I'm 100% confident that all these things have been basically, like handled.
Yeah. You're right. So we're Catholic, and we had to go through some Catholic classes and stuff. I know we're a little over time, but
It's okay.
we
Go
kind of
ahead.
went through that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We had like a 2-day kind of like a camp thing with other like 50 other couples and
Mm-hmm.
go through stuff and that was really good, eye opening. But so she had converted to become Catholic. And then after a while, she just stopped going to church with me. I would go to church by myself.
Mm-hmm.
She became, she was probably, she says she's a introvert, I think empath.
Yeah.
I think the word's empath. So like when I would have like friends have parties and Thanksgiving and Friendsgiving and stuff like that, she would never go with me.
Mm-hmm.
So my friends don't know her. She's probably met only like 5 of my friends, and most of it was because of the wedding. Like she doesn't want to go out and do anything and meet other people. And then like when she has her friend stuff, like she's always making me go with her. It's like not even exchange. And wait, I just lost my train of thought. Why I'm talking about this?
It sounds like you're.
Oh.
It sounds like it's like a incompatibility issue. You know, most people get the. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just remember. Okay, so about the church stuff, because I'm religious too.
Yeah.
And she just started going down this path of she started getting to. I mean, I don't tell her what to do, but she started getting to like witchcraft and Wicca. I think the word's Wicca type stuff, and it's like okay.
Did you talk to your pastor about this?
No. No.
You have to. You have to talk to your pastor and also like a marriage counselor within your religion. Because honestly, man, it sounds like you were hoping on a package and the one you got is different. You know, in the book you're actually gonna read which one is it? The Sacred Search. You hear about a story about a lady and a man that got married and the lady had this because it's very hard to keep pretending for 10 years. So at some point, something has to give. Something has to break. And it sounds like she did that for the first 4 to 5, 6 years. And once she married you, it just broke. Like, all right, I just can't pretend anymore, or whatever it is, right? Something just clicked, and then she just reverted back to her original self in some way, right? Is that what it sounds like?
Yeah. Can I tell you something real quick?
Yeah.
So 2018 we had split up. I had found some stuff. She was trying to plan her life with another man. That just broke me.
Yeah.
So I packed up my stuff and I just left one morning.
Yeah.
And I didn't speak to her at all for like about 8 months. Then her counselor told her to write me a letter. She sent me an email, and that really touched me. So we started doing like little mini dates. Like I would come over and we'll like do little mini dates just to see if we can rekindle things. Yeah. And like the person I saw right there was the woman that I met 10 years ago. That I loved. That I fell in love with. She became like this very sweet and kind of shy person again, and not this angry, violent person. And then she just slowly started reverting back to the same person. I know COVID was really bad. Our dog died, which was traumatic for us, and then all the crazy stuff in the world started happening. And then like finally like last year I just had it, and then I started dating, and then I started meeting people that really treated me great. Like didn't treat me like she's been treating me for the last 9 years. And I'm just like ready to move on.
Okay. I understand. It's been 10 years and you're like on the last stretch and you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. Before you walk away from this, read those books I told you. Talk to your pastor and go to marriage counseling. If you've been 10 years it's like going 10 years in war, and the last time when you got to walk it one more time saying like, I'm done, I can't do it. Just finish things correctly. if you do this, one, it'll help you select your, if this does not work out, it'll help you select your next partner, not just from a standpoint of like, this girl is nice, she treats me nice, all because all those things can change, right? So you gotta vet the person, and you gotta marry someone that's compatible with you based on facts, based on, again, people usually break up because of money, in-laws, and not being straight on kids, right? This is not a money issue whatsoever. This is this is probably like a compatibility issue, because like you're marrying someone that's like very different from you. So
yes,
before you walk away from this, the money stuff, you know what to do. You're a smart guy. Yeah. The wife thing, talk to your pastor, give it one last chance, and if you don't want to proceed, talk to your pastor again and tell him, hey, what can I do now? Because I can't do this anymore. And be honest, and just confide in that person, and just tell him everything you told me, and just listen to what he has to say. Okay?
Okay. All right. Well, I really appreciate that a lot, Tommy. I know that we went over time and stuff like that. You probably have other things to do. Yeah.
I know. This is exactly what I have to do right now, which is talk to you, and that's why I think God put me in your path and put me in your path also. Okay?
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate
that. And read those books. It'll help you get a lot of guidance, because you sound like a very confident guy that has not been put in a place to actually execute on his confidence. Right. Okay?
Yeah, definitely. I'm probably going to get some audiobooks and listen to it too.
Yeah. So. Do you have Audible?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, then get those. They have an Audible version to it. Do you work out?
I'm about to get back in the gym now that I had COVID. You know, I had about 90 days, and then I'm going to get my shot with the hospital. So I need to get back in. It's been over a year. I haven't really been working out. I'm looking horrible. Okay. Remember,
it's health, wealth, love, and happiness. Okay. So work on those 4 pillars. Yeah. But the Gary Thomas book, Secret Search, that's an audiobook. The Before You Save the Date, that's actually like a real book. So just get that one. It's like $10. It'll be worth it. Okay. And just get started on that. Okay. If you want to talk again, you can set up a call with me anytime you want, and we can get back on the phone, okay?
Sure. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
All right, brother. Have fun, all right?
You too. Bye.
All right. Peace out. Guys. Moments like these make me realize why I do what I do, and why I need to learn so much more than I know right now. I want to make sure you guys understand this. This man sounds like an amazing guy, right? Great guy. And lacks a little bit of self-confidence, and lacks a little bit of the tools that he actually needed in the beginning to see these things and walk away from it. You know, I think I heard it in one of Dave Ramsey's podcasts. I think and he was like, well, not podcast, but you guys know, like his show or whatever, right? And the whole idea was, you know, Tommy, when you are in a relationship and that person is threatening to like hurt themselves, is being unfaithful, something has to give at some point, and you might just have to walk away. But I cannot be the person to say, hey, get divorced, do this. What I'm gonna say is, hey, if you've been trying this hard for 10 years, give it one last chance, not just with her, but also for you. Talk to your pastor. Read the books you need to read, because these books right here are going to guide you not just through this current marriage, but also through finding that next person you're actually going to give. And by the way, there's this rebound effect that usually happens with people. They go out there to find someone new that seems like, oh my gosh, this girl's perfect. But in reality, again, they don't vet that person. And then they find themselves in that same issue all over again, just in a different circumstance. So overall, this is why it's so important. Before you marry someone, marriage is extremely important. But you gotta be on the same page, okay? How do you feel about money? How do you feel about in-laws? How do you feel about kids? How do you feel about those 3 main things right there? And what are we actually gonna do about it? Those are the main things. You're not just marrying a girl you love. You're gonna marry a life partner in a sense. The mother of your kids. Basically, you're gonna marry her family also. And this right here sounds like a very toxic situation, but I've seen people come back from worse than this. So that's why I can't just say, hey, throw things away, because again, I'm also religious too. So talk to your pastor about it. Find out what he has to say. What are the options that they give you? And if this comes to a divorce, because again, trying to burn the house down, trying to hurt themselves, trying to practice something else, is marrying someone in line with your beliefs to strengthen in yourself, right? When you marry someone, you can't marry someone kind of like, oh, spiritually below you, because that'll drag you down, or someone that's sometimes crazy above you, because in reality you'll probably drag them down too. It's like this level of, hey, what are we on the same page about this stuff? And marrying, once you have confidence in what you're actually going to do. But that's my advice here. I had a lot of fun with this call, listening in and hearing what the entire issue. But again, this is not a money trouble. This is not money problem at all. The guy's smart. He's just going through stress right now. And then in reality has just basically started buying things left and right, because basically he doesn't know what to do anymore. It's just a symptom of everything else going on in his life. And I'm glad I poked at it, and I kind of like got down to the knit and grit to be like, okay, this is what's actually going on here. But amazing call. Thank you so much. And if you ever want to talk again, schedule a call. We can talk one-on-one. Link down below, whenever you want. I'm always open. I'm always available. Thanks again, guys. And as always, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified. And if you guys want to text me or tell me one, join my Patreon, link down below, or send me a DM on Instagram at Tommy Bryson. And before I go, if you want to watch another call, here's that call right here, and click my face right here. And as always, peace.